Welcome to Glass House Films. Again, ever-lovable host Carson. We've got Adam again. Yeah. So, Godzilla. Movie came out. I didn't have any money, so we didn't see it. Now I have money, and now we're seeing it. I'm excited.
Let's see it.
I'm really excited. Are you excited?
Dolby Atmos.
I'm excited. It's giant lizard with really good CGI wrecking crap all over the place. I'm excited, and it's got Breaking Bad in it.
I hear that it's monsters fighting monsters.
I am pumped for that. Yes. Are you ready to go see this?
It's from the people who made Pacific Rim.
No, it's not.
The people who did the animation for it.
Okay, because it's directed by the guy who directed Monsters, which I loved.
The people who animated Pacific Rim just went from robots fighting monsters to monsters fighting monsters. I'm pretty sure that was a pretty easy switch.
That sounds awesome to me. Let's go see this thing.
Yeah.
They evacuated us so quickly. I don't even have a picture of her.
You're only gonna be gone for a few days, right? You are gonna come back to me. It's not the end of the world.
Nature has an order, a power to restore balance.
Godzilla. Experience it in IMAX 3D. Rated PG-13.
Welcome back after the break. We haven't changed, except we saw a movie. Anyway, so, what'd you think, Adam?
I thought it was awesome. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Totally awesome.
Yeah, I gotta agree. That was actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Couple things.
Okay.
I didn't really like the human characters that it was following. Didn't really care too much about them, but that's okay.
I don't know. I wish it had stuck a little bit more on on Ford's character instead of kind of bouncing between him and his family. Like it was fine when it was bouncing between him and the military.
Yeah.
But when it was him and his family, I didn't care as much because it's PG-13. They're not going to kill his family.
Yeah.
But I mean,
better if they kill his family.
Other than that, those are minor complaints to levy against this film. Anyway, the basic plot of this film is back in 1999, a rather large nuclear plant meltdown occurred, and the whole plant just exploded. And it was the main character's father and the main character's mother. The mother died, the father survived. And since then, the father's been trying to figure out, well, what is actually the cause of this meltdown? Why did it happen?
Right, because he sees these tremors that were consistently happening, whereas earthquakes are all just random.
Yeah, he was seeing these patterns, and he was trying to tell other people, but nobody was listening to him. So, skip to about 15 years later, and they start to discover what actually happened, and then the ramifications of that discovery. And I gotta say, that was... The trailers do a really great job of not really exposing too much of the story, which I think that this movie succeeds at.
Yeah.
As far as making it kind of a mystery for about 2/3 of it, and then the last third making it that knockdown, drag-out fight that we want with the Godzilla film. And I purposefully stayed away from a lot of the reviews of this, like Rotten Tomatoes especially. I kind of stayed away from it as much as possible. But one thing that I had been hearing is that a lot of people were complaining that there wasn't enough Godzilla in a Godzilla film. Now, what did you think about that?
Well, I think in monster films, generally, it's a better idea to not show the monster until the very end, or show very little of the monsters. And they did exactly that. So I very much enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was a steady build up to
Right.
every single time that you saw any of the monsters,
Right.
not just Godzilla.
Because, I don't know, it's just whenever they did it in Jaws, but that
Exactly.
was just because...
Now, one of the, again, going back to that complaint, a lot of people are saying, bring that complaint against Transformers. Oh, there are too many humans in Transformers. We don't get enough of the Transformers. Now, in the first movie, I disagree with that. In the second two, there is way too much of a human element. In this film, the human element, they built that up, and you need that human element so that you have context for all of the conflict that occurs.
Right. If they just showed Godzilla, you'd be like, yippee, fighting monsters.
Exactly. Otherwise, you have like a 2.5 hour stag reel of Godzilla punching things.
Right.
But you need that context. For example, look at Aliens. For the first 3/4 of the movie, you never even see a xenomorph
You don't know
or
what's
alien.
going on.
And then the last quarter, you are held in such suspense.
Right.
And that's what this movie does really well.
Right. They do the thing where if you don't show like enough, you don't show like anything for the first, a lot of it, you know, the first half at
2/3.
least, yeah. It makes it so much better when you see all of those monsters in the end.
Exactly.
And they did that very well.
That was really handled well in this film. I gotta say, so as far as story is concerned, I actually really liked it, and I won't go too far into it because it's kind of it'd be a spoiler if I did, but by now everybody knows there's a sequel to Godzilla. What I will say, though, is if there wasn't a sequel to Godzilla, this movie did a really good job of making it a very self-contained story.
Yep.
And I actually got to tip my hat to that because they didn't know if this film would be that successful.
Right.
I mean, now obviously it has, but they didn't sequel bait you, and
Right.
that was really good.
It wasn't like, oh, hey, we'll
Yeah.
tell you what happens next time.
And this film really lived or died off of how great the sound was, and the sound was actually really good. Like, every time any of the creatures breathed or moved or roared, you felt it, and it did a fantastic job of that.
Dolby Atmos. That's the reason. Dolby Atmos.
I don't think Dolby Atmos had that much to do with it, but
You're like,
the film is still great. The special effects, top notch. I mean, they had to sell it. Kind of an interesting thing is that even though this was all CGI, with Godzilla, it really did feel like they motion capped a person. So you still almost got that feeling of a man in the suit that the original Godzilla movies had. I really got that feeling watching this, and I think that's actually kind of a really cool thing that Gareth Evans, the director, did for this film. It does a really great job making nods for fans of the other Godzilla films, as well as people who've never seen a Godzilla film in their life, except the 98 Broderick Emmerich film. That movie is a piece of crap.
right.
That's the one most Americans have seen. But yeah, special effects great, music was really great, and this is really a film that you need to see on a big screen. It is something that you need to see big, because that's what this is about. Big things, big, larger than life events, larger than life creatures. Big. That's what this film is about, and it nails it. I mean, everything about this film was big, and you felt it. I don't know. So, any last thoughts?
Go see this film in any sort of media, preferably Dolby Atmos, because, I mean, Dolby Atmos.
Anyway, yeah, I highly recommend seeing it, and yeah. So that's the review for Godzilla. Definitely check it out in cinemas. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page, follow on Twitter at GlassHouseFilms, and the Facebook page, facebook.com/GlassHouseFilms.
You said Facebook twice.
I did? No, I said YouTube first.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And then Twitter, and then Facebook. YouTube, subscribe. Twitter at GlassHouseFilms, follow.
Maybe just don't say it.
Facebook.com/GlassHouseFilms. Anyway, stay tuned, everybody.